Part D. Given points 1, 5 and 4, 11, find the slope. Is the line increasing, decrease? Okay, we've got a lot of stuff happening here. So oh no, this is different. Let's move back up. Write a polynomial. Given the zeros and leading coefficient. All right, that's kind of boring. Well, f of x is a, and then we've got x equals 2. So to find out what's going to go in our parentheses for our binomials, take that x equals 2 and set it equal to 0. Subtract 2 from both sides. X minus 2 is equal to 0. That is what goes in your parentheses. This is a double root, so this is squared. Okay. The next one is x equals -1. Again, make a binomial, set it equal to 0. So we're going to add 1 to both sides. X plus 1 is equal to 0. So x plus 1, and it's only listed as that. Our leading coefficient is 1, so that means our a is 1. And I don't need to provide anything if it's just a 1. Okay. Given the points, let's go to this one now. Find the slope. And I gave you this on the first page. Slope is m equals y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. I always label x1, y1, x2, y2. M equals 11 minus 5 over 4 minus 1. 11 minus 5 is 6. 4 minus 1 is 3. So that slope is 2. Is the line increasing or decreasing? Well, the slope's positive. Because the slope's positive, it's increasing. If it was negative, it'd be decreasing. Find the equation. Okay. Well, we got a couple different options here. And I'm going to use one option now. You can use your other method if you want to, and then I'll use the other method here in a minute. But for this one, I'm just going to use y equals mx plus b. Students, teachers like to teach this in high school a lot. They don't use the point slope formula much that I've seen. All right, so we're going to have a y and an x to find our b. Our slope is 2. And where our x and our y are, we can use either one of these points. It doesn't matter which one. I'm just going to use 1 and 5. So where my x is, I'm going to put 1. Where my y is, I'm going to put 5. And I'm going to solve for b. Subtract 2 from both sides. 3 equals b. So my line, don't use y. You're going to use f of x because we've moved to that point. Our slope is 2. And our b is 3. There is my line. All right, find the y-intercepts. To find the y-intercept, that's where we have to let x equal 0. So 2 times 0 plus 3, 0 plus 3 is 3. So my y-intercept is 0, 3. My x-intercept is where you let the f of x equals 0. And solve for x. Subtract 3 from both sides. Divide both sides by 2. And x is equal to -3/2. You don't need to make this a mixed number. I never deal with that. Yes, you could put -1.5 just because it's not a terminating decimal. I mean, because it's a terminating decimal. So my x-intercept is -3/2, 0. Find the equation aligned with the undefined slope through 1, 5. Okay. Now, I'm going to go through a couple of things real quick with this. We're going to do both of these. We're going to do the undefined slope and the slope of 0. For the undefined slope, an undefined slope is an x equals the vertical line. Slope undefined. And it's written x equals 1. That's it. You need to know this. You need to know whether it's the slope or you need to know whether it's a vertical, because I may ask you, instead of saying, write an equation for the line of an affine slope, I may say write an equation for the line that is a vertical line instead. So be careful. There's the answer for that. And then for the horizontal line, for the slope of 0 is a horizontal line. And that's always a y equals, but in this case, we don't deal with y's. It's f of x is equal to, and it is 5. So I want to show you something that has always helped me. 1, 5. 1, let's just do here. 1, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's my point right there. Okay. A vertical line is up and down. All right. So let's just assume I can draw a straight line. What line does that cross? It crosses the x. So for a vertical line, it's an x equals 1. For a horizontal line, it crosses the y-axis. It doesn't cross the x-axis unless it's y equals 0. So it's going to be in y equals 5. I don't know why there's a parenthesis there. Okay, next. Find a line parallel to the line. So I need to change this point because I'm just going to choose something different. I don't know if 1, 5 is on there. Let me check real quick. 5. No, let's use that. I'm going to use 1, 5 for these as well, because if we don't, the parallel line is exactly the same as the original. So, because I didn't think through the fact that 3, 9 is on the line. So we're going to find a line parallel to this line through 1, 5, just to give us something different to do. Parallel, so that means the slopes are going to be the same for parallel lines. The slope's the same, so it is 2, and it's going through the point 1, 5. Now, I'm going to use my point slope formula. I used y equals mx plus b earlier. I'm going to use the point slope, and it's y minus y sub 1 equals mx minus x sub 1. It's given to you on the front page. And this is just y minus the y value, 5. And then the slope is 2. X minus the x value is 1. Distribute your 2. And then add 5 to both sides. Make sure that you change this to f of x. Is it the same stinking thing? Oh, for the love of God. Seriously? Oh, well, of course, I chose it doesn't matter. I'm smoking crack today. You would have gotten the same answer if you'd used 3, 9. So let's just go ahead and use 3, 9 for the other one because, good Lord have mercy. Perpendicular line. The slope is the negative reciprocal. Okay, so our slope is, instead of 2, it's negative 1/2. For this one, I'm going to go ahead and use y equals mx plus b, just to have both options. All right, like what point's not on here? I need to use my point, my 3, 9. 9 has to be my y. M is negative 1/2. X is 3 plus b. We're looking for our b. All right, 9 is equal to negative 1 times 3 is 3 halves plus b. Now, I've showed you this way back in module 1, how to get rid of the fractions, because you don't have to deal with it, I promise. The thing is, you have to multiply every single term by the 2. That's the same thing as multiplying both sides by 2, but this just saves you in case you forget to distribute. So I'm going to multiply every single term by 2. Okay. So 2 times 9 is 18. This is gone. Negative 3 plus 2b. Add 3 to both sides. Divide both sides by 2. And b is 21/2. So final answer for my perpendicular line is f of x negative 1/2 x plus 21 over 2. Okay. Just going to assume every line in every point on the that I can think of is on that line. All right, population model, always a word problem. So if in 1960 the population is 287,500 and in 1989 the population is 275,900, find the rate of change. That's your slope. So I'm going to label these x1, y1, x2, y2. These are ordered pairs. And it's y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. All right, of course I have a calculator here, not. So this becomes, where's that? Negative 11/6 over 29, which is negative 400. So my rate of change is negative 400. Interpret the rate. The population is, it's either increasing or decreasing. You need to provide one of those two words. That's it. Don't have to come up with anything crazy. The population is decreasing by 400 people per year. Predict the population in 2026. Okay. Well, to do that, I need to write a formula. So f of x equals, now I said for the population, I said whenever we do word problems to always start with b plus or minus mx. So what would my b be? What would my initial value be? And my initial value is always the earliest value we have. And the earliest value we have is the 287,500, but it's decreasing by 400 per year. There's my function. All right, now I can solve for the population 2026. Take 2026 minus 1960, like 66 years. Yep. So f of 66 minus 400 times 66. And that's 26,400 people left, which gives us a population of 261,100. The population in 2026 will be, pick a verb, be 261,100. And the next one is, when will the population reach 225,000? Well, you need to understand with my function, the f of x means the population. The population is this minus this. So where the f of x is, I'm going to substitute 225,000. There's the substitution. Rewrite everything else and then just solve for x. I'm going to, I don't want to do here. Let's just subtract this. Subtract 287.5. And I got negative 62.5. Divide both sides by negative 400 to solve for x. And that is 156.25. Okay, I don't care about that. That just tells me it happened in March. All right, what I do care about is this. I have to take, because I used the 287.5, some of you will use this one, whatever. It doesn't matter right now. You need to go back to whatever year you chose. I chose 1960, and you add that 156 to 1960. So in the year 2116, the population will reach, excuse you, 225,000. All right, I'm gonna pause for a minute. Just be right back.